Yeah, I get that all the time, don't worry. So
um,
many times.
he just says, "I just need a minute to catch my breath," and he gets like off of his knee and like sits down and pulls his helmet off, and he's like an older dude.
Mhm.
Um, but the weird thing that you notice is that he is sweating profusely,
Gross.
despite the fact that if you threw a cup of water outside right now, it would probably turn into steam midair.
Oh my
Oh
god, he's
wow.
fucking possessed.
Oh dear.
Can I slap some mud on that bitch?
Yeah.
Oh my
Like,
god.
okay, like, are you talking about like actually gently applying it, or are you just gonna pull up a ball of mud and fucking like throw it right into this man's
Yeah,
face?
I'm gonna
I
grab
know.
some mud from the nearest source, lift that shit, and then yeet.
I was like, that's what Rava would do. You know it. Oh my god.
Oh no, these are bad vibes.
She's got to vibe check him, damn it.
Um, yeah, I'm not even gonna have you fucking roll for this. You just fucking throw mud in this man's face, and I think he's startled for a second, and just kind of like stops and just kind of lays down on the floor and just kind of like accepts it, I guess.
She goes up to the other firefighters and she's still just holding the golem core and is all like, I think that man died.
And uh, one of them says, "No, that's just the chief. He gets like this after he does his thing."
What is quote his
What is
thing?
his yeah, what is his thing?
Well, Chief's a gap.
Okay, so am I. Fantastic.
Okay, so I guess it is kind of weird. The chief basically it's hard to explain. When he gets hotter, everything else gets colder,
Oh, I
but
know
he
that
still
feeling.
gets hotter. You get me?
Yeah, I get you.
So how does
do you
that
want
work with
this?
sex?
Do you want this? I'm kind of it's kind of vibing and I don't like these vibes.
And that firefighter you were talking to like looks down and sees the core holding and says, "Oh, you got Archia. Can I, I'll take that off your hands."
She gives it back.
Yeah, and immediately the second it leaves your hand, you stop vibing.
Slight disappointment.
And one of the firefighters like walks over with with an off-brand like I don't know what I would fucking call it. Uh, an off-brand Hydro Flask, basically, and just kind of like the firefighter puts the snowball on the ground, and the other one pours the flask over it, and the water kind of coalesces into what essentially is just a ball of water with a smaller snowball in the center of it.
So so you're telling me if I decided to swallow that and drink water,
I think you'd die.
Yeah. Also, you'd have
like,
to swallow a whole ass snowball.
I can't break it into pieces?
It's a golem core,
No.
dude. They don't really break.
I mean, fair. Alright, my bad. Anyway, sorry, Chip was saying something.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying.
You
Oh,
said
no.
Rava does something about like the little water ball in a ball.
Oh, Rava just kind of shrugs. She doesn't know how she feels about that. This has been a weird experience for her. You know how people are like, "Oh, enlightenment." No, this is the opposite. This is not good vibe.
It's like if Buddha sat under the tree and when he came back, he couldn't spell his own name.
Yeah, she got hella vibe checked by this golem core.
And like as everything starts to calm down a bit, somebody familiar shows up.
Ooh.
John Henry shows up on the scene and says, "I really missed a first encounter with another, monster again, and you two were here first. It's kind of disappointing."
Guess you gotta
Well,
learn how
fuck
to
you
run
too.
faster.
Like, all right.
Well, I'm just saying that I want to see it.
You want to see it? Whatever.
I'm just kidding. But anyway,
I would tell Justin to sit down if he pulled that shit.
I think I'm already sitting down.
I know.
I'm like, I've been sitting down. Anyway.
John Henry just kind of looks around and says, "Surprisingly minimal damage. You guys didn't crash a car this time?"
Unfortunately, no.
Fair. No civilians hurt. Mostly just looks like some damage to the street. All in all, I'd say a pretty good rating is coming your guys' way.
I'd hope so. I got burned.
Yeah, like your burn wound is like one of the firefighters like covered it with like ointment and like put like a quote unquote cast over it.
You got
Oh
ointment.
boy. Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm sorry.
Why you like this show?
Ointment.
I think my injury was so bad, I think I need mouth to mouth. But, like, we're not gonna, I guess, discuss that. They're like, you need
How
mouth to
would-
mouth for an injury on your foot.
John Henry, would my... I'm in character.
Yeah.
John Henry, if I were to knock him out, would that lower my rating?
Probably.
Fuck.
I feel like I don't know why I just thought of this all of a sudden, but I feel like Rava is like a serial underachiever. Like,
What does that mean?
I feel like she has the capability to like do things pretty goddamn well most of the time, but she purposefully does it worse than anybody would expect of her.
She's been trying to do that, it's just not working out in her favor.
Yeah. Like,
But honestly, the only reason she gives a fuck about these ratings is that one of the only people whose opinion of her matters to her seems to expect her to do a good job at this.
oh, that's sweet. It's cute.
She'll punch you in the fucking throat.
But John Henry says, and I hate to say this, guys, but we need you guys to help take care of this all the way through.
What does that even mean?
Whatever that thing was you guys were fighting, it's still out there, and thankfully we're able to track it a bit, but it's not dead.
Well,
Annoyed groaning.
yeah, that's fair. I would be too.
And John Henry says, from what we've gathered, that hole in the ground was a gas main. And
A gas main or a gas man?
no, main. Like a gas pipeline to get, gas into people's houses.
No.
It somehow is moving through them, and because of that and the fact that this thing is literally hot as hell, we're able to somewhat see where it's heading, and it is not good.
Where's it going?
It is heading straight for Fuck, what are they called?
An orphanage?
I wish it was an orphanage.
Um,
I need answers.
it's heading out of town to.
Oh, not our problem. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
To a lumber mill.
Oh, well, that's definitely not good.
Why does it matter?
Because wood burns a lot.
Oh.
And it destroys the ozone layer.
John Henry says, from what Prodigy could guess,
Bless you.
from what Prodigy could guess, it's looking for something to feed off of. That's what it was doing when you guys interrupted it.
Well, the city's a bad place to burn things.
True.
Also, side note, we're gonna need a lot of fire extinguishers because even like a full one didn't fully work on it. So we're gonna need a lot more than that.
We'll think of something to help you guys out. Right now, though, we need to send you guys ahead to the lumber mill before it gets there to hopefully sort of prepare for it to show up. And to do that, we're gonna have to transport you. John Henry says with air quotes.
Rava squints.
Is that code
visibly.
for sex? I'm just kidding. That was OOC. Yeah, that's not like in character.
It was funny though.
Well, would Rava find it funny?
Yes.
So I guess I say it. Is that code for sex?
You're such a suck up.
It's fucking great.
I'm not hearing a no.
And John Henry just says, no, but it's going to be uncomfortable.
Well, I'm uncomfortable right now, so
Yeah.
How good
How
are you two
uncomfortable are we talking?
how good are you two at holding your stomachs?
Like when I have something in my stomach? Or like, are we talking like actually holding with our hands?
more of not throwing
that
up
one
because of much.
that one actually gets Rava to laugh.
Okay.
I think John Henry hears Rava laugh and kind of like looks at her side-eyed surprised, like just kind of raises his eyebrows a bit and looks at her out of the corner of his eye. And says, we're gonna have to transport you with Photon.
You know what?
Oh boy, I love getting
I'm
my
going
particles
home.
split apart.
What did Rava say?
I'm going home.
Straight up. I'm just going. Oh my god.
He says, I know
Yeah,
I know it doesn't sound pleasant, because it's not. But it's the fastest way we can get you there, and we really need you guys to get there as quickly as possible.
Why do
Okay.
there are people? Surely you have more water-based heroes, right?
And Jackson says, because otherwise this would be very boring. I don't have any. I'm sorry, Ship. I don't got any reason.
They're
It's
all
just
busy.
they all collectively said at once, we're not home. So
What about ice heroes?
Okay, ice and really ice and fire. Or do I need to bring you back to like high school or?
They're just opposing forces, that's it.
Oh my gosh, that's fair. Okay.
I know fire melts water, but if you have strong enough ice, it's gonna take a long time for them to burn it down.
That's fair. Anyways,
So John Henry says, "We'll send a hero along with you, but what kind of person are you hoping for?"
Somebody that can help put out a fire. I couldn't really do much last time. I just ended up making his fire a tiny bit stronger.
Yeah, I think you just pissed him off.
Yeah.
All right.
Preferably somebody who can back us up with either ice.
Okay,
Well, I
let's
guess
see
no
question.
waters.
Oh, let's see question. Is Joanna officially a part of the IHA?
No, she isn't, but you could probably
No.
talk her into helping you out.
Yeah. She's
Okay,
like
so
big
in
sister.
character. Can I call a friend?
And Henry puts his covers his hand, covers his mouth with his hands, Okay. I'm legally obligated to ask, is this a person who can actually handle it, or are you just trying to kill one of your friends?
Oh no, this is a person who
Why
could
are
literally
you-
beat the shit out of this man, with
Why
a
are you
blindfold.
legally obligated to ask?
Because if it's somebody who could, handle themselves like a Gap with a useful power, then I could potentially allow that. But if it's just a dude, then I'm probably not going to allow that.
Yeah, she's a Gap or whatever, man.
Does that sound convincing?
John Henry just kind of takes off his hat and scratches the top of his head and is like, all right, fine. You know what? We don't got time to argue with this. Just get them here or take me to them, and we're going to get you to the lumber mill ASAP.
Even though they're
Yeah.
like a 3-minute walk, Bravo pulls out her flip phone and opens the opens the contact that just says, "Sometimes I live here." Because that's the only she's terrible with names, and she just hasn't changed it.
Okay.
She dead ass just calls Joanna.
And Joanna picks up pretty quickly, actually.
Oh, she worry.
And says, "Go for Joe. What's up?"
So you wouldn't
Oh my
be
God.
fired if you left right now.
I don't care.
Can you help me out
Yeah.
with something?
Are we talking hero business or something shadier?
Party business.
It's hero business. No shadiness involved for the most part.
All right, where are you?
Like 3 minutes down the road. You know that antique shop?
You got called out to there?
Yeah,
All right,
the- yeah.
I'll be over there.
Can I tell her to bring her sword, please?
You don't have to tell her to.
No, okay.
Robin
I'm like,
just
bring your big ass sword!
Robin just very quietly tells him to shut up.
I want her to bring her sword! That asexual energy is way too strong!
Robin hangs up.
Wait, now that it actually matters, I don't think anybody would know that Joanna's asexual at this point.
That's fair. I think you guys. I think that maybe a game you guys have when you're hanging out at the burger joint is trying to guess if Joanna's what Joanna's
What
sexual
Joanna's
orientation
type is.
Yeah, and you see multiple times people come in and hit on her, and she just fucking destroys them.
What destroy are we talking? She flames them, or are we talking she grabs the sword and is like, "Bitch, you better keep walking."
I think that at some point some fucking frat bro comes in and Joanna asks, "What can I get you?" He says your number, and she responds with, "That's not on the menu, and you don't look like you could afford it."
Oh my god. I love that.
We stand.
I love that.
But
She's committed to her sword.
yeah, I think Joanna shows up. I think that she's like half out of her uniform. I think she has like the apron and the hat still on, and she just kind of
my
like
God.
rips them off and tosses them onto the ground. And she's wearing like a fucking like leather jacket and jeans and fucking combat boots.
Yes!
And just walks over to you two and says, "So, what kind of hero business are we doing? And do I kill this guy?" And she points to John Henry.
As much as
as
I
far
would
as-
like that, no.
Well, he's at least hot. We gotta keep the hot ones alive unless they're evil.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Anyways, I'm so sorry, Royalty. She dead ass just lied about it.
Oh.
She says, "Yeah,"
She says, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
and I think Joanna immediately moves her hand to her hip, and like as she moves her hand there, there's a small glow and a belt with a scabbard and her sword materialize, and she starts drawing her sword.
No, wait, I'm serious. Do not murder. We need him.
Yeah.
Joanna just kind
We
of
have to.
looks at Rava and slowly puts the sword away.
I love
So-
that she's ready to just slaughter someone on Rava's
She's-
word.
On site, man. On site.
God.
Like, Joanna's like, okay, who are we gonna murder? This guy? Like, and you're like, no. Like,
She's like, are you
and
sure?
she's like, I'm ready. Like, let's do this.
God, I love Joanna. It's
So-
gonna be great.
I guess I filled Joanna in about the flaming astronaut and how we need to like. Well, I mean, there isn't a no kill rule, but if we need to kill him, like we need to kill him, and we need to go to the lumber mill, and they're gonna transport us using photons, like
No, she was
technology.
about to kill John Henry, right?
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
Joanna just kind of nods.
She's listening, but she
Yeah.
provides no commentary.
Yeah. Joanna, no, she does. She nods and says, "So, what you're telling me, don't get near it, don't put it on fire, and it can just, I don't know, vanish?" That's not much to go off of,
Yes.
but alright.
Yeah.
I guess I'm
So
ready
we're
then.
gonna do- Okay.
They all three of them just simultaneously turn towards John Henry.
And John Henry is like, "Okay, this is going to be very unpleasant, especially the aftermath. Just stick with me." And he holds up his wrist, and there's like a smooth, like black bangle around it. Kind of fills it with it a little bit, and just like that, you guys are now in a completely different place. And both of you roll what would this be? Roll durability.
Okay.
18.
Let us see.
Okay,
7. Oh boy.
Um,
Oh,
No, 7.
baby.
Rava, you're mostly unaffected. Justin, you start dry heaving.
Oh, baby.
You don't vomit,
no.
but you start like going. Like you're on the verge.
Funny.
Oh my god.
And that is because you literally just traveled at the speed of light.
Hate that.
And isn't the way his technology works, it breaks down the atoms and rearranges them at a completely different place? Or is that
It's-
something else?
No, what he does is he turns you into light, and then you go to the place you need to go, and then you turn back into person.
Okay. So you're telling me I just had myself deconstructed and put back together,
More
or
like
transformed into light? I
yeah,
guess.
you got transformed into light. So more of like it's more
Where
of
are the
like if you
crystal
went down
gems?
a. Oh fuck no! Wait. Especially Rava, because Rava also has a gem.
Oh no! We were
It's just
crystal
fine,
gems
guys.
for a second. We just used like the warp path. Oh dear.
I'm so sorry, Jackson.
This is a fun time.
But yeah, and both Rava and Joanna just fucking like just completely like shrug this shit off. Justin's not having a good time.
Baby.
Um,
I'm small. I'm scared.
He needs help.
and Joanna just like kind of looks around and says, "So that was unpleasant, but all right, I guess we're here now. What did we have to do?
We have to
Stab
wait for
fire,
the-
right?"
Yeah, there's a big
We have
fire
to-
thing in the gas lines.
Right.
We either
right.
have to arrest him or we have to kill him. I'm fine with either.
Can we arrest him? Is that a thing we can do?
I mean, maybe. If not, we'll just have to kill him, man. That's just how life works, I guess.
Joanna just kind of nods her head and looks around. There's a lot of shit to burn here, and she is very right, because almost everything here is made out of fucking wood.
Either
Yeah.
made of wood or is wood.
Yeah, like, most of the things that are made of wood are at least lacquered, but there is so much, like, loose timber here that this place is just begging to burst into flames.
So I would like to attempt to do something.
Okay.
I would like to attempt to cover the whole ass place in mud.
That's actually a really good
Very,
idea.
very smart, actually.
Yeah.
God, this would definitely be roll 2d20.
Oh boy.
Separately.
One's a 2, the other's 19.
Okay. I'm going to give you an option. These two rolls are stamina and proficiency. So either you are like weakened a bit from exerting a ton of energy that you didn't really have, or you are fine personally, but like the mud job is very shitty.
Honestly, it makes the most sense that Rava would be really tired after all that because of all the mud walls and bullshit.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with that one.
All right. So yeah, you're gonna have disadvantage on some rolls during this battle, but this this place is very thoroughly covered. Like I think you mostly ignored the lacquered stuff, but
Yeah.
like all the loose timber, especially like the giant piles of like logs and beams, are all mud up. Justin, do you have any preparation you'd like to do?
The only thing I would ask is it possible? So, with my power, is there any way to get rid of exhaustion, or is it just physical injuries?
Physical injury.
Okay, so it has to. Okay. I was going to say, is there any way I can take away some of the exhaustion, but that would make sense. Okay. So, does anybody right now have any physical injuries that I can heal partially, or are we all good 100%?
No, you're the only one who got hurt.
Yeah.
You're the only one who got hurt, and you're mostly fine, but you are going to have some disadvantages on, like, proficiency rolls regarding your own body. So, like, basically, like, moving out of the way of things and, like, dodging and general nimbleness, you're going to have some disadvantages from your fucked up leg.
Rava is gonna sit her ass down for a minute.
Okay. And Joanna starts to kind of like look around the lumber mill. and you don't really know what she's doing. She's just kind of going in and out of not buildings, out of rooms, very casually, with her hand always on her sword.
Okay. Can I also, while the time is right, because it makes sense, at the very least mention to Joanna how, like, my power of, like, healing works, so to speak? Like, I have to make contact with one of you guys in order to heal you up, just in case.
Joanna looks over at you and it's just like, huh. I might have an idea for that.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah,
I
so
like to think
if I suddenly touch
she
you...
kind of made a little happy noise.
I made what?
I like to think that he made like a little happy noise.
Yeah, Joanna's cool.
Yeah. Joanna is just very collected throughout this whole thing, as she's just moving from room to room, and I think eventually she just kind of nods her head and is like, okay, so 2 things, one good, one bad.
Okay.
1, I know where he's coming from.
Okay,
2,
that's good.
2, I don't know where he's coming from.
Oh.
And she kind of gestures for you two to come over to her.
Okay.
And when you do, there is a boiler room through one of the doorways. It's down a small flight of stairs, but there are a bunch of pipes here. She says, so he's coming from this room, just don't know where in this room.
That's interesting.
And she says, okay, I have an idea. I need to ask though, because I don't know if you guys just didn't if you guys left this out. Can it fly?
I don't think so. Not that we saw.
Good. Okay, up the stairs.
Cool.
And as you guys reach the top of the stairs, you see Joanna pull out her sword and just like fucking butter, just kind of starts to casually hack the stairs to pieces.
Oh boy. Well, she knows what she's doing. I'm fine with it.
Eventually, she manages to basically entirely deconstruct this staircase. Before she kind of walks over to like the wall that led up to where leads up to where the doorway is, and just kind of casually jumps up there.
Oh.
And now that room has no staircase.
Okay.
Rava's like sitting on the nearest object.
Jonah says, "You all right?" Tired.
Literally, yeah. Yeah, that's literally all she does. She's just.
I think Joanna knows
Alright.
exactly what that means.
Joanna speaks Rava.
She's-
It's cool.
I think that's so cool. Like, she
That's-
just, like, knows exactly what it is.
Yeah, and Joanna understands that means it's very exhausting to walk.
Also relatable.
And as you guys are just kind of, chilling, you hear high-pitched whistling coming from the boiler room.
Ah, shit.
And then you hear an explosion, and you see some of the flames from this explosion kind of reach out the doorway as a plume of smoke emerges from the shockwave.
Literal choking.
I'm sure that's completely unrelated.
Bravo
kidding.
gives him a
I'm just
look.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
And Joanna pulls out her sword again and casually walks over and looks down into the basement, and she says, "Yeah, he's here."
Okay.
And sure enough, you can, from where you guys are, feel a little bit of that heat. Like coming off of, coming out from the basement. What do you two do? Or if you do anything.
I think I'm gonna wait until I see what Joanna's gonna do.
Can I try to make a knife?
Yes, roll proficiency, but with disadvantage.
So just roll once or twice or...
Twice. And take the lowest
Okay.
number.
11.
11. Okay, yeah, you make the knife then.
Yo.
You make the knife, but you can kind of tell that this thing only has, like, a few good stabs in it.
That's fair.
And then, as Joanne's just kind of casually leaning over, I think, she, like, kind of touches the, golden choker around her neck, and, she touches the golden choker around her neck, and then, reaches her hands out, into the basement, and you just see, like, a short burst of light just kind of, like, exit her hand. Which is immediately followed by a gout of flames right at Joanna, which she dodges. Okay, yeah, she moves out of the way of it, and I think she looks over at you two kind of wide-eyed and says, "That was a bad idea."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I believe you.
And when she looks over again, she says, "Oh, okay. Everybody, like, get back a little bit." And she kind of does that, like, half speed walk sort of thing towards you two, and says, "Well, I don't think it can fly, but it's not good still.
What's up?
Yeah.
You can go take a look if you wanna."
Cool. Bravo does this. Just poking her head over the edge.
Yeah, you see that the astronaut is climbing this wall. And as it moves, like, further up, its fingers and the tips of its boots sink into the wall a little bit.
So how close is this thing to me?
Probably like 5 feet.
The ability to try to stab it in the face, yes or no?
I mean, you could throw the knife, but it's probably a little bit too out of reach.
Okay.
I don't think
shall
Rava's very
throw-
long.
I shall throw a knife.
Okay. Roll. I don't think this one would, like, have disadvantage. Roll. Where is the pages again? Just let's see. Their abilities. Yeah, I think this would probably be proficiency. Roll proficiency.
17.
Yeah, you. Where are you aiming for?
The face.
Okay. I think you do throw the knife, and it does hit the face, and it actually, like, gets, like, buried a couple of inches into the visor. So and at first you think, "Oh, okay, yeah." until it looks up at you, and you see more flames pouring out of the new crack in its visor.
Yes, hello. I would like to back the fuck up.
Yeah, you, because you did that on your own, you're not going to have to roll, but as you back up, you see a white-hot burst of flames, like, rise up, and
Rise.
and hit the fucking ceiling and start to melt the fucking ceiling above the astronaut.
Oh, fantastic.
And Joanna says, "Yeah, that happened when I shot it too."
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh boy.
I have an idea. Okay, everybody shut the fuck up. So, I say we keep doing that.
Joanna says, "And this is a good idea. Why?"
Because if we melt the ceiling, then it's just gonna collapse on it.
Huh.
That's yeah.
All right, sounds good to me. And as like you're all in agreement, one of the astronauts' hands grips the edge of the floor.
I'm sorry. You said that, and all I could think about is like its hand goes up, grips the edge of the floor, and then all three of them are like simultaneously screaming. And I know that's not what would happen. Just simultaneous fear.
If this was Cal, maybe. Cal isn't Cal isn't very scared, but he does like theatrics, so he probably would put it on an act like that. Very in character for him.
All right.
That was great. Anyways.
And the astronaut starts to lift itself up out of this basement. And what do you two do?
Does it take a full turn to make a knife? It's okay.
I think you could probably make one in like the time that it's like lifting itself up out of the hole.
Okay, so Justin can go first.
Okay.
What?
You go first.
You can go first.
Okay. Like, what do I do in combat? You mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody injured right now, right?
Yeah, but also that's not your only method of attack.
Well, I mean, yeah, I could, like, I guess. Wait, did I specify what my weapon was?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
We'll work on that later. But there is,
Yeah.
I will say in the meantime, at least, there is some, like, tools around. Mostly in the form of, like, various kinds of saws.
I think I know exactly what to do.
And Justin's like, I amputate my leg.
Yes. I stabbed
That'll hurt
myself.
him.
Oh my god. Joanna, quick, chop off one of your wings.
If you said, I think she would actually, like, punch you in the back of the head if you said that.
Ow. No. Well, because does she visibly have wings right now? Or is she not showing it?
Actually, currently, Justin does not know that Joanna is an angel.
No, I know that, but I mean, like, I'm not going to say it to her. I was just like curious, like, at this point in time, she should have some of her wings off, right?
She is missing her lower set still, yes.
Okay.
But they are not visible.
Okay, so
they're not visible
man.
because they're gone.
No, like not.
I know.
Neither set
I
of
know.
her wings. All right.
I know. I'm just being a dick.
Poor Joanna.
Um,
Anyway,
She would punch both of us, like in the throat.
which is sad because I like Joanna. She's cool. She wields a sword. Anyway, back to it. Well, because I don't really know. Okay. Is there a list of my abilities by chance?
I haven't figured out what like the latent abilities of Aetherborn are. I think one of them might be like. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out later. I probably should figure that out soon.
Yeah.
But for now, all you got is your main power.
Okay. That's my only main source of damage, so unless I want to, like, hit myself, like, or stab myself, or, like, scratch myself or something,
Wait,
it's not really going to do much.
Can't you, like, transfer that kind of shit? Like,
Well,
if you,
yeah.
you have to touch both parties if you're gonna transfer it from, like, one third party to another third party?
No, he only has to touch one of the third parties in that case.
Okay, I would like to summon my next sharp object.
Okay, what kind of sharp object is it?
It's probably just a fucking. It's like at this point she's probably tired, so she's probably just summoning like a shard of like fucking clay.
Okay.
Hardens, you know, a knife, but not actually.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you got poke. What you do?
I got a poke. Rava, because I know she's kind of a dumbass who doesn't think about things. You know, I think she hands it over to the guy who probably doesn't know what to do with it.
Oh, sweet, now I have a weapon against a close combat fighter, dude. No, but in this case, like, I guess, like, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to, like, I don't know, like, cut myself.
She looks
Is
at him
that
and is
what
like, I like to think that he says that out loud.
Well, yeah, I mean, because,
She looks at
like,
him
what
and
else?
is like, you could cut me.
Oh, well, are you okay with that?
What I have offered.
And
Okay.
Joanna, like, puts a hand on Justin's shoulder and says, "If you cut her, you die. Cut me."
Oh,
Oh my
okay.
God.
That works.
Rava
Okay.
stops both of them. And
Don't
just
worry, I
takes the
have a
sharp
plan for
object
this.
And tries to stab the thing in the hand because this is going on too long.
So,
turn.
so Rava takes the poke.
I take the poke back. I'm just gonna stab it in the hand. Fuck you.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
because
boy.
I'm not gonna make you guys really take any damage for just one turn, and it's like super close range.
Yeah.
If you're there for multiple turns, though, you'll probably take some damage. But for now, yeah, Rava, you run up and you just like stab it in its hand, and as you, well, what do you do after you stab it?
I try to stab it as hard as I can. Damn it.
Oh my god.
Oh, so you're like digging this thing in?
Yeah.
Are we
like,
stabbing Joanna? Like,
No, she's
No.
stabbing the astronaut.
Its hand is
Oh,
doing a
okay.
grabby do, so I stab.
Okay, yeah, you stab it, and how would it? Okay, so basically, here's what's gonna happen. So you're like digging this thing in. So I don't think you're really gonna get an opportunity to like get out of the way of the subsequent gout of fire.
Okay.
But you are going to do like extra damage to it because you're like focusing everything on like Hort.
I'm tired, but I can still stab you with the goddamn head.
Roll d20.
13.
Okay, yeah, this thing kind of like Corn Man doesn't have a lot of durability.
Okay.
Yeah, you dig this thing into its hand for... Where did I put that fucking note? What kind of bonus should I give? Oh, I know. Hold on. Where is... That would be... Hold on, I need a calculator because I'm really stupid.
Same.
Just... How did I not know that? You do 18 damage.
Yeah.
all right.
And then you take...
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
You take... Where is Rava's durability? 12, not great, but not terrible. 13, 6 damage.
Heck.
Okay. What was the form of damage she took specifically?
Fire damage from.
Wait, like what exactly is burned?
I think that like you burned part of your hand because you were like pushing this knife as deep as possible, and as like the flame started to like spill out, your hands were caught before you let go.
So how much damage is that?
That's 6.
Okay. What's my health?
35.
29.
Right now. Oh.
Okay. I'm good.
Yeah, so whose turn is it now?
Joanna's.
That's actually a good question, yeah.
I guess, yeah, Joanna could go next. I think Joanna gets quite upset at the fact that Rava got hurt,
Oh no.
and also the fact that Rava charged ahead like an idiot. So I think Joanna
valid.
like rushes forward, grabs Rava by the shoulder, and pushes her like back. And at the same time, like drives her sword. She stabs at the pommel of the knife that's in its visor, and just kind of crashes through it into the already made hole and out the other side of the helmet. And then like pulls it away sideways, so there's now a much larger gap in its head. And will she be able to dodge? No, she will not. Joanna like catches like this almost fan of flames in the back for. Oh, that's not a lot. She takes 3 damage.
She durable.
Well, it's because
Yeah.
it's mostly because the thing rolled really bad.
Ah.
Hmm.
I like to think that she did her best to get out of the way, but got fucking sent.
Yeah, she did. And now I think it's the astronaut's turn.
Oh.
And the astronaut, it almost kind of looks like woozy.
Oh no.
And it's kind of stumbling a little bit.
I died.
And reaches its hand out towards like the nearest thing. And I think it's one of those loose pieces of lumber, and it tries to like cook it, but all it does is kind of harden the mud around it.
Yeah.
And
I got excited.
and it looks very confused, but it then drops the lumber and like stomps the ground, and this like small shockwave of fire travels along the floor. So everybody make proficiency throw. So roll d20.
Okay.
4.
Yeah. Oh, Rosie, you have to roll it twice and take the
Alright,
lower
so-
number.
Okay. The lower number is 10.
Okay. So and Rava got a 4,
Yes.
and Joanna gets
She's
all
an
around
angel.
bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Rava, I think you actually like trip, so your like butt and your feet are like on the ground when you get hit, and you take wait, how oh shit, I've never had to deal with that. I think you take like 2 damage. It just kind of like I think it like warms the buttons on your pants or whatever, and those kind of like sting you a little bit, and you're like, ooh, ow. Because it got a 1.
Okay.
Justin got a 10. So, oh, I should roll to like hit. Advantage to the attacker, I guess. Justin gets hit with. Okay, that would be
Oh my gosh, that dude's following me.
4 damage. Justin takes 4 damage. And Joanna takes a lot more than 4.
He found me.
That would be,
Dude, he's been chasing me.
I think, 8. Joanna takes 8 damage.
Okay.
No, you are. Oh my gosh. He's stealing all the stuff I'm
Now it is Justin's turn.
All right. So who's the most badly hurt right now? I think that's Rava or Joanna.
Oh, Rava took 6 damage from the.
I have 26 health.
Yeah. Rava took 6 damage from the hand one and 2 damage from the shockwave. Joanna took 3 damage from.
Vibe check.